Think about the last time you stepped onto an escalator. You walk up, you grab the handrail. The steps carry you forward. Easy, automatic, effortless. But here's what you probably never noticed. Right there, on both sides of every single step, there are brushes, little yellow or black bristles, lined up like tiny soldiers, running the entire length of the escalator. At first glance, they look like they're there to clean your shoes, maybe catch some dirt, wipe off a little mud. Seems logical, right? But wait, look closer. They're not facing down toward the floor. They're not positioned to scrub anything. They point outward, directly at the side gap. That dark, narrow crack between the moving step and the stationary side panel. That doesn't make sense for a shoe cleaner, not even a little. Turns out there's a brilliant reason those brushes exist, and it has nothing to do with your shoes. Today, we're uncovering the real mystery behind escalator brushes, how they silently protect you every single day, and why without them, escalators would be one of the most dangerous machines on the planet. But before we dive in, welcome to We Knew That, the channel where everyday objects reveal secrets that'll completely change how you see the world. If you're already thinking, wait, I never noticed those brushes, hit that subscribe button right now, because We Knew That drops mind-blowing discoveries exactly like this every single week. All right, ready? Let's go. To understand escalator brushes, we first have to look at how escalators were built and the terrifying design flaw hiding inside every single one of them. See, escalators aren't one smooth machine. They're a chain of individual metal steps, constantly moving, constantly rotating, built inside a fixed metal frame. And between those moving steps and that fixed frame, there are gaps, narrow gaps, dark gaps, gaps that are basically invisible until something gets caught in them. Now imagine this. A small child steps onto an escalator. They're wearing those soft, flexible shoes. You know the ones: Crocs, flip-flops, foam sneakers. The shoe bends slightly near the edge of the step, just slightly. That's all it takes. The gap grabs the material. The escalator keeps moving. The shoe doesn't. Escalator entrapment accidents send tens of thousands of people to emergency rooms globally every single year. Many of them involve feet, toes, and soft footwear getting sucked directly into side gap. Before modern safety features, the gap was essentially an open mouth, waiting. That's the problem. That's the dark reality. And that is what the brushes are actually designed to solve. So here's where it gets genuinely brilliant. Let's break this down in 3 steps. Step 1. The real danger is curiosity. Here's the thing. Engineers studied escalator accidents closely, and they discovered something surprising. Most entrapments didn't happen randomly. They happened because people naturally drifted toward the edge of the step, especially children, especially people wearing soft shoes. The gap is dark. It's low. It pulls you in without warning. Think of it like standing next to a river's edge. You don't fall in from the middle. You fall in because you kept edging closer until the bank gave way. The side gap works exactly the same way. You drift. The machine doesn't forgive. Step 2. The brush solution. Feel, don't think. So engineers had a choice. They could put up signs, they could add warnings, they could paint bright lines on the steps. But here's what's genius. People don't read signs when they're on an escalator. They're on their phone, they're holding bags, they're talking. Their brain is somewhere else entirely. So instead of relying on your eyes, the brushes talk directly to your body. The moment your foot drifts too close to the edge, you feel the bristles. A soft, unmistakable tickle. It's gentle, but it's immediate. Your brain registers it instantly. You shift your foot inward, instinctively, without even thinking about it. The brush doesn't stop the escalator. It stops you before the escalator has to. That's the first mind-blown moment right there. The brushes aren't passive decoration. They are an active, physical warning system built into the machine itself. Step 3. The legal and financial angle. This is where it gets real. Now you might be wondering, why don't escalator companies just close the gap entirely? Make it tighter. Problem solved. Here's the brutal reality. You can't fully close that gap. The steps need room to move, flex, and rotate through the escalator's internal track system. Seal it completely, and the machine jams. The motor burns out. The whole system fails. So the gap has to exist. It's not optional. It's physics. But wait. If the gap must exist and accidents keep happening, why aren't escalator companies getting buried in lawsuits? Here's your answer. The brushes. When a manufacturer installs safety brushes, they've demonstrated due diligence. They've taken a measurable, documented safety step to prevent entrapment. In legal terms, that changes everything. Without brushes, a lawsuit after an entrapment accident is almost automatic. With brushes, the company can demonstrate they provided a recognized safety mechanism. The liability shifts dramatically. We're talking about the difference between millions of dollars in legal exposure and a set of plastic bristles that costs almost nothing to manufacture. A full escalator safety brush installation costs manufacturers a few $100s per unit. The average escalator injury lawsuit settlement can run into the hundreds of thousands. The math isn't complicated. The brushes aren't just smart engineering. They're the cheapest insurance policy ever built into a machine. Second mind-blown moment. Right there. The brushes keep the machine safe too. Here's the third kicker. Nobody talks about this one. The brushes don't just protect people. They protect the escalator itself. Coins, buttons, small toys, debris of every kind falls onto escalator steps constantly. Without brushes, that debris slides directly into the gap, into the mechanical track, into the motor system. Small objects in a high-tension mechanical chain, that's how escalators break. Expensively, suddenly, while people are still on them. The brushes act as a barrier, catching debris before it reaches the internal mechanics, extending the machine's operational life, reducing maintenance costs, reducing breakdowns. One tiny row of bristles, 3 massive problems solved simultaneously. So next time you step onto an escalator, don't think of those brushes as some quirky design choice or a leftover cleaning feature nobody updated. You are looking at one of the most quietly brilliant pieces of passive engineering in modern public infrastructure. Those little bristles talk to your nervous system. They redirect your body without a single word. They protect you from a gap that physics says must exist. They shield the machine that carries you. And they've saved escalator companies from billions in legal liability, using something that costs less than a bottle of shampoo to install. One object, one tiny detail, an entire world of invisible genius hiding in plain sight. And that moment when it all clicks, now we knew. If this completely changed how you see escalators, smash that like button. Subscribe to We Knew That for more everyday objects with extraordinary secrets hiding right in front of you. Seriously, it helps more than you know. And drop a comment with We Knew That. Then tell us what everyday object you want us to investigate next. New discoveries every week. See you in the next one.